Today we are going to see about business continuity process. So we have to understand what is this business continuity process. Okay, or in other words, it is called as business continuity plan or planning. Okay, so this business continuity plan, it is nothing but it is a detailed document. Okay, please understand this BCP or business continuity plan, which is a detailed document. So this BCP is needed or this is operated, okay, when a particular organization is facing any problem, okay, facing any disruption, okay. The problem means it can be a natural disaster, it can be any type of physical attacks, or it can be any cyber attacks, or anything, any unforeseen event. Okay, so that is what your disruption. Now, this business continuity plan, which is again a document that is used, okay, how the organization can continue to operate, okay, during a disruption or after a disruption. Okay, that is what this business continuity plan. Okay, so please understand. So this is a document-like structure. So this is something, a pre-planned document, right? So this can be utilized or this can be processed, okay, during a disruption or after the disruption. Okay, so how the organization can be continued, okay, during a disruption or after a disruption. Okay, so for this continuity, okay, how the organization can be continued. Okay, so for that purpose, this business continuity plan, this is used. All right. So the contents of this particular presentation is we will be seeing what is this business continuity planning, what are the key features, then we will see understanding business continuity plan, right? And then we will see developing a business continuity plan, then impact analysis, what are the top threats for business continuity, then what are the 4 characteristics guiding continuity planning, and what are the benefits of this BCP, all right? So all these comprises of understanding about business continuity planning, right? So as I said in the introduction, BCP, which is the process involved in creating a system of prevention and recovery from potential threats to a company. Okay, so it can be unexpected disruption or unexpected event that occurred, so that the company or the organization went into disruption, or any threats happened. For this purpose only, this BCP is implemented, right? Or it is the process, actually speaking. So as I said, this is a detailed document. So this document can be maintained, and it can be, it should be understood by the people whenever a particular organization is going through a disruption, or after the disruption, how the business can be continued, right? So this plan ensures that personnel and assets are protected and are able to function quickly in the event of a disaster. Okay, so this plan can be useful for both the employees, the humans working in the company, and the assets. So those can be protected. So what are the key features? So this is actually the process a company undergoes to create a prevention and recovery system from potential threats. Okay, so that can be a natural disaster or cyber attacks. So this BCP is designed to protect personnel and assets and make sure they can function quickly when disaster strikes. Then BCPs should be tested to ensure there are no weaknesses which can be identified and corrected. So if we want to understand this business continuity planning, BCP, right? So this involves defining all risks that can affect the company's operations, making it an important part of the organization's risk management strategy. Now, the risks can be natural disasters like fire, flood, or weather-related events. Okay, so any natural disasters or any cyber attacks. Now, once the risks are identified, the plan should also include how the risk will affect the operations. Okay, then implementing safeguards and the procedures to mitigate the risks, then testing procedures to ensure they work, then reviewing the process to make sure that it is up to date. Okay, so there are many examples we can say, right? Some real-time examples like, nowadays we get the warnings from from the climatical that domain, right? So they will forecast the weather, whether the rain would come or not. If the rain is coming, maybe what temperature or what centimeter it is going to flow, right? So based on that, the government will take some measures, right? If a storm is, it is going to take, what are the preventive measures that can be taken to safeguard the people, right? So these are the plannings, okay? So the government people or even the private concerns they would take, right? So that is what we can relate with this business continuity planning. Now, even if an organization is, facing such kind of disasters, so how the business can be continued? Maybe as we said, during the disruption or after the disruption, right? So for that, they should have a plan. They should have certain analysis. They should have some mock related things, whether this plan is, if this plan is working out. They have to make sure that this plan actually works well, correct? So if we are understanding all these, right, then we can have a professional business continuity plan. So how to develop a business continuity plan? So there are several steps many companies must follow to develop a solid BCP. So firstly, we should have the business impact analysis. Okay. And then secondly, the recovery and the organization, training. So if we talk about analysis, impact analysis, so the business, okay, or the organization will identify the functions and related resources that are time sensitive. Okay. If we are going to analyze on the impacts, right, then the impacts can be both financial and operational, right? So when we are identifying when the loss of a function or process would result in the identified business impact. Now, when we are analyzing this sort of financial and operational, right, then how it, that particular, the loss would impact the business, right? So we, as an organization, they have to identify the functions and the related resources. Then secondly, the recovery. Now, in this portion, the business must identify and implement the steps to recover critical business functions. So when we are developing a plan, right, business continuity plan, first of all, we have to make an impact analysis. That is the first point. Then what are all the recovery measures? Okay, so again, the business has to identify, and after identifying the steps, those steps has to be implemented. Then a continuity team must be created. Now this team will devise a plan to manage the disruption. Then finally, the continuity team must be trained and tested. Now the members of the team should also complete exercises that go over the plan and the strategies. Now see, this we can relate with our own day-to-day life activities. So when we are having certain, some day-to-day life activities, sometimes, right, some unexpected, event that occurs, right, then we may have some another optional plan, like plan A, plan B, plan C, right, some backup plans, right? So that is what we ourselves will implement. For example, if I am traveling from one place to the other place, suddenly there is a traffic, right? Hectic traffic happened, unexpected traffic, right? Now immediately we should react on that particular situation, whether we can divert from that area or not, whether it is possible or not. Or even in our travel plan itself, we may have different plans like plan A, plan B, and plan C. Based on that, we will train our mind, and of course, we will train ourselves to adapt with the situational plans, right? Similarly, this business continuity plan is exclusively for continuing the business even after the disruption, any disaster that would have taken place, or during the disaster or during the disruption. So how the business can be continued. So for that, we have to develop a plan. So for that plan, we should have the impact analysis. What is the recovery measures, the recovery steps? Then there should be a dedicated team should be organized, and that team should undergo a training and testing. So what are the top threats to business continuity? Now, you can see in the list, there are 4. One is global pandemics, natural disasters, utility outages, cybersecurity. Now, we can talk about global pandemics more and more because like 3 or 4 years back or 5 years back, the whole world, they faced this pandemic situation. Right. So in that situation, many companies, so this is something, one of its, its own kind, because thus far, even the whole world has not seen, such kind of pandemic situation, right? Maybe in the centuries back, right? So I think we are the generation, we have witnessed this pandemic situation. Now, in that situation, many companies, they would have, they wouldn't have thought about such situation would arise, right? But even after that, many companies, they have overcome the situation. Okay, the online world, the virtual world, they started booming, right? So how, through that, many businesses, they have started continuing, right? So one of the main threats for the business continuity is about global pandemics, right? Then, of course, natural disasters like a heavy flood, right? Then utility outages, cybersecurity. So these are the top threats to business continuity, right? So I have given some explanation about each and every threat. As I said, we have seen all citizens were forced to stay home, right, and do as much work from there as possible, like work from home, right? So this work from home is again one of the strategies, um, you know, that has uh, uh, taken place during some pandemic situation. So these are all the uh, developing. These are all the business continuity plans that has been developed, right? Then about natural disasters like tsunamis, some of the storms, earthquakes, uh, heavy floods, right? Then utility outages like loss of power generation, communication lines, water shutoffs, right? Cyber security like uh, data breaches, data theft, uh, denial of service attacks, right? So these are all the top threats for business continuity. So this business continuity plan must be it must be framed, right? Whenever what kind of threat has occurred, now the organization should be in a position to continue their business by following the business continuity plan. Now, what are the four characteristics guiding the continuity planning? Right now, we may be able to avoid some major disruptions, but there is always room for the unexpected. Now we have seen about this COVID-19. This COVID-19, none of us wouldn't have even thought about it, right? So, freshly during the month of December 2019 and the whole year 2020 and even 2021, the complete year, it was completely lockdown situation. The whole world, we wouldn't have seen or wouldn't have even thought about that. So that is what an unexpected occurrence is, right? Now that's why we need a solid plan to restore our business even after the disaster strike. So firstly, comprehensive plan that's realistic, efficient, and adaptable. Now, comprehensive, as I said, we even don't know about what would happen. All right. Uh, we may never be able to plan for every single possible disruption, right? Maybe from our human minds or from the capacity of our human brains, we will be thinking about some like regular disruptions, or we may even think about some climatic disruptions like a heavy flood or earthquakes, right? But in terms of COVID-19, that is what even we wouldn't have thought about it. So we cannot plan for every single possible disruption, right? So it is worth trying. Okay. So we will need to make sure that we have backup plans and backup plans for our backup plans. I think you are getting the point. So we have to consider every single factor that could play a role and assume that everything will go wrong at some point, right? So we have to try, and we should have some many other alternative plans, right? Then secondly, we should have a realistic. So we don't want to get into a disaster situation and find that we have laid the best plans actually cannot be carried out as planned, right? So we are having some additional or alternative plans also. Now we have to find the best laid plans, right? So be realistic about the plan that we have laid out and make sure that it has as many contingency plans built in as possible. And then thirdly, how it is efficient, right? then it should be adaptable, right? So if we are having, or when we are having these characteristics, when we are developing our plan, if we are thinking all these characteristics, or if we are understanding all these characteristics, then definitely a business or an organization can develop a solid business continuity plan, so that whatever uh, disaster or disruption would take place, as much as possible, the business can be continued even during the disruption or even after the disruption. Right. Finally, we will see what are the benefits of business continuity planning. So we will have, like, we can maintain business operations as always. We can build the customer's confidence. In this case, we can even say we can build the employees' confidence as well. Then preserve our brand and reputation, preserve the organization's brand and the reputation. We can protect the supply chain, the complete process from the raw material to the end product. So we can protect the supply chain process. We can gain a competitive edge, and then we can mitigate a financial risk. Uh, so that has been given in detail. So firstly, we can maintain the business operations, and then we can build the confidence level, okay, among the customers, among the even the employees. Then we can have, already the business would have created a brand, right? Though any disasters has happened, still we can preserve the brand that has been already created, provided if a solid BCP, business continuity plan, is implemented. Then, as I said, we can have a complete supply chain, we can protect the complete supply chain process. We can gain a competitive edge, and then finally, we can mitigate financial risk. So with this, I will close for the day. So we have another small topic, which is about information security audit. Okay, so how this security audit would take place, when it would take place, right? What is the need of the security audit, information security audit in an organization? So that we will see in our next class.